Since 2020, there have been many changes in society. Nobody could predict the pandemic and its outcomes, nor could the average person really do much about the pandemic. Countries basically shut down, limited only to essential services such as healthcare or anything else. Many jobs went virtual if they could afford it, but at the same time, many small and local businesses had to close if they couldn't turn to online commerce. And to the people that lost their jobs, they either had to find a new one or they collected unemployment while isolated at home. One of the biggest effects of the isolation was mental health. According to the World Health Organization in March of 2022, in the first year of the pandemic, global prevalence of anxiety and depression increased by a massive 25%, which is a lot. People sitting at home no longer had in-person interactions and were just limited to voice chats or video calls. And honestly, that's not a substitute for face-to-face talking. And so the social interactions were lacking, which led to issues such as depression. And along with that, people were also worried about income because they no longer had a job. And that can also lead to anxiety because people are anxious about their jobs, anxious about their health, anxious about a lot of things. Along with the anxiousness and depression and any other type of mental health issues, isolation also led to more instances of domestic violence. The National Commission on COVID-19 and Criminal Justice found that, based on a review of 12 U.S. studies, most of which included data from multiple cities, shows that domestic violence incidents increased 8.1% after jurisdictions imposed pandemic-related lockdown orders. Now, this could be from living in close quarters to someone just being controlling over money if they were the sole person in the family that had a job. But generally, with being in close quarters, arguments are more likely to break out, and this can lead to violence, especially because there wasn't a way to get out and take a break from each other because of the isolation. Isolation also impacted students too. They had to go from in-person learning, which a lot of time was beneficial to everyone, to virtual learning, which was bad for a lot of students. I know that whenever I had to go to virtual learning, I didn't like it at all, and it was really hard for me to learn that way because I kept getting distracted. But at the same time, there's also the social aspect of it, where students couldn't finish out their year with their peers. They didn't have a normal graduation. They didn't have a normal prom. They didn't have a lot of normal things that other people got. And it really hurt for a lot of people because those were their memories and they couldn't have it. Even through all of this, even though lockdown is eased up, there's still lasting impacts that'll be seen for many years to come. Businesses have to get back on their feet. People are still looking for jobs from when they lost them in the original pandemic. Mental health needs to be taken care of, and it's not as simple as just going back to the way things were before, because nothing has been the same since then. People have to find their new version of normal, and society still has to figure out what their normal is, because it's different for everyone.